Welcome back to New Amsterdam Radio, the podcast for creatives. It is I, the mayor, in the mayor's office, Flobo Boyce, but I am hanging with someone who I have seen grown so much, done so many things, lived so many different lifetimes, and she's actually younger than me. Give it up for Christine Alexis. How you doing?
Woo, oh my God, what an introduction.
That's my things, man. I love introducing my guests.
No, you killed that. Oh my gosh, taking notes for the next time I'm in your chair. Yeah. Oh my God, thank you so much for having me, Flobo. You were saying this off air. It's been a minute since you and I have chopped it up.
I know. It was Love is Blind, which, okay, so for those of you who don't know, I have not watched dating shows in my life, but I really want to work with a friend of mine. His name is, what's his name again? Help me out.
Michael Thielen, right?
Dude, I gave it to you. You were like, who?
For a second, I was like, wait.
Michael Thielen, yes.
It feels like it was so long ago, you know?
Yeah, I know. It feels like 25 years ago. Well, Michael Thielen and I wanted to work with him, but he's like, I'm a reality show, I'm a dating show guy. And we worked on this after show for Love is Blind. So first time I got to work with you, it was interesting because I was completely out of my depth. I don't know what I was doing. I know nothing about love, but you kind of helped us all navigate through that crazy Netflix show.
Yeah, that was a fun experience. You know, when you and I hosted that show for AfterBuzz TV, Love is Blind on Netflix. If you guys haven't watched it, we're still in the middle of this pandemic. I'm sure you can find some time to watch it. It's hilarious, kind of wild, and being the reality TV, you know, I hate the word junkie, but fanatic that I am from covering Bachelor for so long, you know, that's kind of my wheelhouse. Yeah. That was, you know, I got to lead that show and, you know, hang out with you and Mike every day or every week rather. Yeah. And it was a lot of fun. And it's, you know, seeing now how the couples have changed, it's so funny. It always just makes me think back to that time.
What I like about your hosting style is that you break down very complex concepts, but you don't do it in a condescending way. You don't be like, oh, well, it is this. It's kind of like, you know, you're hanging in the room being a cousin. Was that something that's a conscious effort or just like your natural personality? Walk me through your style.
Oh, thank you so much. Actually, you know, it's something that I think has always come naturally to me, but it's now something that I've been told that other people really enjoy about my hosting style. So now it is something that I'm aware of, and that, you know, when you find out what your gifts are, you own it, you push it. So I try to be that authentic, like your bestie who's always going to just give it to you real and give it to you straight in a way that you can understand and feel like, you know, I'm giving you that real. So that's definitely my hosting style. Yeah. I don't know if that's a product of me being from Brooklyn, like we both are. Well, and just the way that I guess I've always been raised, and just also how I like to receive information. I always put myself, whether I'm writing or hosting, whatever my audience is, to okay, how would I want to receive this information? How would I want someone to tell it to me so that I'm not like, this person's, you know, yes, or oh, you know, I trust this person. I want people to trust me.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You mentioned you're from Brooklyn, the hometown, representing. Hey. Yo, that must have been a crazy trip. Telling your friends and family, especially having, I guess, can I divulge as well? Like me, you are Caribbean American. Your parents are immigrants. Yeah, they're immigrants too. But the idea of I get the whole put your head down and cut cane, but I'm gonna go out here and do this thing. I mean, how did that work with your family and your unit?
You know, I gotta say, I felt really lucky to an extent because I'm one of 4 children that my parents have. I'm third eldest. So I had to just put that out there because it does, what's it called? It helped me in a sense because both of my older sisters, you know, they left the nest really early and they kind of set the tone. I was actually the only one who stayed home for college. I didn't go away. So I was home my whole life until 23 when I decided to move here and do the damn thing. You know what I mean?
Where'd you go, by the way?
I'm sorry?
Where'd you go to college, by the way?
Oh, I went to Brooklyn College.
Oh, what? Yes, what train stop?
I went to Brooklyn as it gets, 205, stop at Brooklyn College.
Yep, that's my jam.
You know, that was my life. So when I decided to leave, I went big, and I'm really happy that my parents were actually super supportive because my older sister Dominique, she had already been here for 2 years. Okay. So I had a couch to crash on, thank God. I didn't have a job. I definitely didn't have enough money saved, but I had that vision that I was like, okay, I've been here. I think I need a serious change of environment to flourish. And God, have I been flourishing? So
Yeah.
feels really good.
Let's talk about that. Flourishing in Los Angeles. I've been seeing the Instagram. I've been seeing the hosting reel. You're doing it big. And putting in your mind, are you on your way? Have you reached your destination? Where are you in that success kind of like mind's eye when it comes to your craft?
I feel like I'm definitely on an upswing. I'll give myself that credit because
Stocks are up.
going up. Yeah, the stocks are going up because I know exactly. It still feels like yesterday how I felt when I first got here, and I didn't really know how to get from point A to point B to then to point C, like anywhere on this hosting journey. I just knew that I wanted to do it. And like any other novice host, you scroll on Instagram, you see what other people that you like are doing, where they're at. I kept seeing this place called AfterBuzz pop up, and I'm like, okay, I'm out here. Like little by little, certain things start to like line up. So, but it was still really, it was just so hard for me then as compared to now, where I guess the biggest difference is I feel like I have a lot more knowledge to share. And I feel like, anyone who's a creative can relate to that imposter syndrome. Like when you start to level up and you're getting better, but then there's that little voice inside of you who's telling you like, you don't actually know what you're doing,
Right.
And I feel like I'm constantly fighting that because whenever I talk about like, where are you at in your career? That voice again is like, you're still that girl who moved here 5 years ago who doesn't know where she's at. But the truth is I'm not.
Right.
I've had more than a couple really, amazing experiences in the entertainment industry that I'm grateful for, that I've, been able to do. And I feel like I'm a much more knowledgeable, confident host. And I'm not quite where I want to be yet because I have recently taken a slight career shift. Okay. But I feel like I'm learning some skills now in a different area that I think will just make me better as a host and as an interviewer. And it's just somebody who, like I said, people can trust, an expert of sorts in some way, in terms of like communication and branding and entertainment, all the things that I'm really passionate about.
You had mentioned the imposter syndrome, and that seems to affect a lot of creatives, right? That someone's going to come out there out of the crowd and be like, yo, that guy's a fraud. Over there, get him. But in your opinion, where does that come from? I just want, cause there's no right answer or wrong answer, but like where that feeling comes from in our head about why we can't say we've come this far, we've earned our spot, why we try to sabotage ourselves, you think?
Gosh, I mean, the answer that comes to mind immediately is just, insecurities. I can't speak for anyone else, but I know for myself, sometimes I realize that little voice is trying to tell me that like, I'm not good enough before anyone else can. And I think I've become maybe more comfortable with dealing with that critic in my mind than dealing with, the critics of everyone else. Even though I know to an extent, I don't care what other people think, but like, to an extent you kind of do. I think everyone does a little bit. So absolutely. That fear comes in where it's like, okay, you're not actually who you say you are. I can grapple with that. And then outwardly, I'm not projecting who I actually want to be because I'm still dealing with that voice inside. So it's actually like stunting your own growth. It's stopping you from really like shining because I believe in the power of like, speaking things into existence and, just standing in your truth. So if you want to be like the best host ever, but in your mind, you're telling yourself like, yeah, I'm probably as good as probably some intern. I'm not really that great. You're not going to be presenting yourself in the best way to the world. Whereas if you kind of tackle that imposter syndrome, it's hard, but the more you work at like quieting that voice, you're going to show up like, I'm the best host in the world. Your energy is going to speak that. It's only going to be like a snowball effect into being the person you want to be.
True. I'm a big proponent in like just let someone else figure out your flaws. Because like I've never seen Apple be like, yo, the brand new MacBook is not as cool as the last MacBook. It's actually more expensive. It's all right. It's always like, get it now. Figure it out yourself.
That's true. That's true.
You had mentioned that you took a little bit of a pivot in the hosting space, so you're working on something else, but somehow that is going to end up with skills that you can apply. So let's talk about that. What made you change? What are you working on now? And what skills are you grabbing out that you can use to other applications?
Yeah. So right now I'm working as a creative copywriter at Fashion Nova. Which
What?
I'm so excited about. I've always had a passion for writing, talking and hosting, like this is our bag, this is what we do. But
Hey.
I think personally, I think the foundation and that comes from like really good storytelling and knowing how to like write. And that's something I've always been really good at. Prior to this, I was working at PerezHilton.com for almost 3 years.
Oh yeah.
Celebrity gossip, news writing, blogging. So I've been in this field for a little while, but now this creative copywriting role is teaching me more about like branding and marketing and, how to connect with people through social media, managing some of the channels that we work with. I write email campaigns for the company, any sort of copy that the company needs, I'm in charge. I'm one of the people in charge of doing that, which it's like a whole different creative avenue for me. It's less of like reporting hard news and just kind of selling a vibe, creating an experience for a customer, which it's so cool because I'm a customer, I shop at other places. So now I'm kind of the person behind getting you to, invest your money and your time with the company. So I say all that to say part of what I've understood through moving to LA with this hosting thing and that we're trying to pursue is you are your own brand. You have to know how to sell yourself. There's a lot of influencers out there getting the gigs that we may want because they just know how to sell themselves and they know how to brand and they know how to connect in a way that, some companies will reach out to faster than someone who's just, an average host. And I don't say average like in a bad way, but just another host. So this is teaching me like I'm learning a lot from this side of the business of what they look for when they're trying to work with different influencers and maybe how I can be a better influencer, how I can sell myself, how, just how this all works. And I'm just right now, I consider myself a sponge. I'm like soaking up this new skill.
Right.
And then we'll see what I can, spit shine with it after.
What, in your estimation, is the Christina Alexis brand today, as the end of January?
In January. The Christina Alexis brand is first and foremost a media personality. That's what people know me as, and a writer. But it's so hard because I enjoy acting, I enjoy dancing, I enjoy just being creative in so many different ways. So that's actually something I've really struggled with, trying to just be like Christina Alexis, so and so. But I would say a media personality and a writer is probably the best way that I would describe myself. Super into pop culture. I'm into music, sports. Like, again, I think it goes back to like, it doesn't matter what I'm talking about. It's about like, I'm really passionate about connecting with people. And even just if we don't have the same viewpoints, just how I can better, connect with anyone else.
Yeah. So you teach me how to dance because I have no rhythm. I'm kind of insulting my own people.
Oh my God.
That robot. Yeah.
Robot is a tried and true move. Okay. Don't let nobody tell you any different.
I'm at a wedding that's going ham. So do you worry about, or something that's concerns you about, like presenting yourself in a way about representation? I mean, you are a host of color, you are a Caribbean American, West Indian American. When you perform or create, is there a thing in your head that says, are you doing it for quote unquote the culture, or is that a construct in your mind?
That's a very interesting question.
Well, thanks.
You're so good at your job, so great. That is, it's something that I'm always aware of because I can't get out of my own skin. I'm a Black woman, in this industry, in this field, and what I'm doing. I think that speaks for me before I even open my mouth, to be honest, regardless of how I, may present, because colorism is a thing. And I know that I'm on the lighter end of the spectrum. I just try to be, like I said, just be my authentic self. And yeah, I do think about the culture in a way because I know it's like, this is the content I'm engaging with and I want to give it back to the same people who are interested in the same kind of content and vibe that I'm into. So I think about it, but I don't think it necessarily like colors the way that I go about anything per se, because it's already a part of me.
Yeah, you just, it's ingrained, built in.
Yeah. Do you feel that way with the content that you create?
Yes and no. And if you want to be totally full disclosure, like I don't worry about being Brooklyn enough. I don't worry about being black enough. But like I had a falling out with my extended family when I was a teenager. And so my formative years, 14, 23, I didn't really have any contact with the island. So I worry that, yes, I'm 100% Caribbean American, but I worry that when I say that I am, that someone's going to be like, you a phony, back to the whole imposter syndrome thing. But I can't get rid of that. That's 100% me. Like my grandparents cut sugarcane for a living. You know, my dad's uncle was a fisherman. That's a legend. And he came to this country to be an electrician. And I was raised in working class Brooklyn. I went to Madison, for those of you watching this or listening to this.
We're rivals. Stop.
I gotta throw it up. I'm sorry.
I'm from Midwood, so it's a hard stop.
Oh man, they tried so hard to say the Battle of Bedford Avenue, like we're back to a fight. But no, I'm sorry. But I worry about the West Indian part about that. So I worry about that culture if I'm representing that way. Because even though we have come so far in American culture, people still dismiss it as, oh yeah, Rihanna's from there. And that's kind of like, well, yes, but, you know what I'm saying?
But no, I feel that, definitely. Yeah. I think it's people like you and I taking up different spaces to kind of educate other people who may have like a monolithic idea of what Caribbean people are supposed to do or look or act like, or what spaces we're supposed to be in. So I personally love that when someone's like, oh, like, where are you from? And I'm like, oh, I'm Haitian, actually. Like, I always just say that. Yeah. And, like, what? Especially because there's not a lot of Haitians out here. Like, it's really scarce. Can we get some on this side? I know we're all in New York and Miami and Boston or whatever, but
I had a guest on another show of mine. Her name is Sarah the Rebel, and her dad's side of the family is from St. Lucia. And I told her that it's funny, on the Eastern Seaboard, you can find neighborhoods and be like, yo, this is a St. Lucia spot, this is out here. But here in LA, it's kind of like, oh, you're from one of these 75 or 80 islands. It's like this weird kind of like mishmash family because we're so spread out, we're so disparate. You know, I'm going to Jamaican restaurants, be like, it's close enough.
That's a rough thing. I know, spoiled being from Brooklyn. Like, we know what good pizza, what good Jamaican food, all these good foods on deck that we're so used to having. And LA has good food. I don't want to like crap on LA food culture, but it's different. It's like something I got used to. But
what is your favorite like traditional Haitian food? Are you like Jomo or like anything in particular?
I love traditional Haitian food. I love Jura John John, which is the black rice. It's a staple. Like I see that anywhere. And I just love the way Haitians prepare fish, poisson. It's very good, and fried plantains, banan. That's what we call it. So if you gave me that and like a side of mac and cheese on a plate,
mac and cheese.
You got it. You know, black people always gotta have mac and cheese.
It's universal. It's so funny. No matter where you're from,
it's gonna be on the plate. So that or just like, oh my god, yeah. And like, so Haitians, our version of like fried food, like a big fish fry or any sort of meat fry is called fritai. So any sort of fried food. So I know growing up in church, we'd have some weekends where it was fritai, and there'd be fried plantains, fried fish, fried meats, and it's just like, I know fried stuff's not good for you, but that's like the one time I indulge because, listen, I love Haitian food. That's like number one for me. And if I had to pick another cuisine that I really, really like, I don't know, that's hard. It might be like Chinese food or like Italian food. Like,
so when you say Chinese, you mean like New York Chinese, right? Because it's very specific.
Like
you got a panda hair, like we ain't the same.
It's not, but listen, I've grown a severely soft spot for panda. I'm not even gonna lie.
Okay, tell me why. I'm just curious, why?
Just because like it's convenient and they're everywhere.
Super early too.
Yeah.
10 a.m. it's open. Like, yo, you want this now? I'm like, yo, how? When'd you make this?
I don't go for panda. That's a little concerning. Like, if you've been up since 6, I guess that is lunch for you. I don't know, but pandas are fine dinner every now and again.
Yo, I'm in the same boat. It's all good. I know it's like the real stuff. 2021, I think we all survived 2020 in our different ways. Not trying to, because everyone's year is different and triggering. I don't want to ask specifically though, but like now moving forward, what is the plan for Christina Alexis? How do you get yourself forward? Like, what is your plan, business-wise, mental-wise, heart-wise, soul-wise, mind-wise?
Oh, what a great question. I'll start just with a little bit about what's been going on with me since the year started. My house right now is in boxes because I just moved.
Oh,
I'm now
congrats.
on my own. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm so
That's
excited.
a rite of passage in LA. People don't understand. People don't understand.
You don't know if you've dealt with roommates, if you dealt with just moving around, trying to get settled. This is, I think, definitely a milestone, I would say, for myself that I've hit. I'm so excited about. And I'm really excited to set up a studio space here and maybe start creating content on more of a regular basis.
Yeah.
We put together like an IGTV series, just get back to like creating more for myself. It's kind of hard sometimes when you're in a transitional phase to still want to create, but
yeah, you have to be in a mental space to do it. Like if you have bad roommates or in a bad relationship, it takes a lot of effort to be like, all right, I'm gonna be creative. Don't mind me in the corner.
because you have to be mindful about your noise level with other people. It's just not the same. You're creating in a box, and now this is my box. This is my playground. I get to do what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. Continue working, doing the work that I'm doing at Fashion Nova, which I'm really excited about. Like I said, it's been a while for me since I've learned a new skill. Like it almost feels like I'm in grad school, but I'm getting paid for it. But just in the sense that like I'm just learning so much every day. Like it's like an assault sometimes.
Right.
But like, just like I said, soaking it all up, enjoying this experience, and getting to learn something new. And I'm so excited to see where it takes me. I plan on being in LA for at least another couple of years. And really getting back to pursuing acting and getting back on TV in some way. But this year, 2020 was a roller coaster for myself and for a lot of people. But I have to say I have been blessed because, like I said, I got this plate. There have been a lot of blessings that have come my way. So I think I just try to keep that in mind, like to not let my perspective get ahead of me. Just like, live in the now. Like good things are happening. Some kind of annoying bad things are happening. But I think my main focus this year is keeping a really positive and just focused mindset so that regardless of what's happening, I can continue to take care of myself and get to know more of my own like talents and bring that out in whatever way it comes out.
Before we get out of here, I have to ask you a cliche podcast question.
Ooh.
Forgive me. I'm going to go my bag of cliche questions right here and ask you if you had any advice for anyone listening right now that's looking to start their own thing, their own creative pursuit. You can share any kind of insight there?
Ooh, my advice for you would be to, from personal experience, get used to being your own cheerleader. It's going to be hard. I don't want to just follow your dreams. Yes, absolutely. But just understand that, you're going to face challenges at every level. The more you level up, you can't be like shy about tooting it. Even if you have a little horn and the person next to you has a trombone, you better toot your little horn, okay?
Yeah, toot that horn. Well, Christy, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate your time. I know it's transitions in a lot of ways for you, and I'm glad you were able to share your experiences here at Knew Amsterdam Radio. If someone wanted to follow you online, social media, hit you up, how would they go about doing so?
Oh, first of all, thank you so much for having me on. Like, this was so great, and I hope anyone who's listening got something out of this combo. And if you did, follow me on Instagram at Christine I Alexis. My handle on Twitter is a little different. It's Christine Bean, which is my fun nickname that Flobo loves to call me all the time. Christine Bean. That is me. So it's Christine I Alexis on Instagram and at Christine Bean on Twitter. I'm doing a whole lot of things right now, but just keep up with me. And, I'm so happy if you decide to join me on my journey.